enjoy it. Okay, so Eden, I've known Eden for ages. He's worked at the Scottish Sculpture Workshop since 1994. He put in a foundry there. Is it still a diesel-based?
Diesel-based.
Diesel-based, it's amazing. And then also, of course, there's iron presses there. So, as he says, aiding, abetting, cajoling, encouraging, and occasionally teaching artists at all stages of their career to produce sculpture in a wide range of media. But he has also exhibited nationally and internationally in a variety of personas. Very interesting. As Olid Nordhausen, he's produced audio pieces, both for general release and commission, as Barry Lightning, international rock star. Eden made film pieces with his co-collaborator, Bruce Lightning. You'll have to explain this. Jolly is a member of the International Table Squintus Association and an occasional motorcycle blogger, Paul Collinson. Finally, as himself, he is a sculptor. So,
thank you very much. It's funny where I am conferences to take it. I mean, I first went to Trenton, New Jersey, to the Iron Conference there, and ended up here, of course. But you see a huge amount of interesting stuff in all these places, and eventually, everyone seems to come back to smelting, and that's where my interest in this project started from. Basically, what we're going to do, there's been some excavations in a place nearby the Scottish Sculpture Workshop. It's called Rhynie, where Dr. Gordon Noble, an archaeologist, has been discovering really interesting artifacts. So, from the Pictish period. So he approached us to see if we could recreate a particular piece of equipment found on a stone carving. It's an axe, and it's carried by the Rhynie man from around 700 AD. I don't know if you're aware of the Picts, but they were there before the Scots in Scotland. That's what they look like, apparently. And that's what we wear at the workshops most days. So you'll see on the left-hand side, we've got the Dalriata. They're the Scots, and they came across and moved with the Viking influence into the Aberdeenshire, which is the blue area where the Picts are. So a lot of the stone carvings, hill forts, etc., of our area are Pictish, which is very mysterious. Nobody knows very much about the Picts. That's why there's been so much research into them. This is the Tapa North. That's a 9-age hill fort at Rhynie. And in the foreground, that's a stone carving, a Pictish stone carving, which is between the two, they look over Rhynie. That's called the Craw Stain. It's a picture of a salmon and a crow. The fact that these are here underlines the importance of Rhynie. Rhynie actually means place of the kings. From around AD 34. So Rhynie lies more than 40 kilometres from the coast, and it's a highly important site. Huge importance, the place of the kings. So this is Benahee, which is another hill fort, which is you can see from the Tapa North. And Benahee is the only source on Earth of Macaulayite, which is an amazing piece of granite. It's got iron content in it, and it contains water in the crystal structure. There's water in there. And NASA have been doing research into this material because they believe that's what gives Mars its red colour, Macaulayite, showing that there could be water on Mars. But the reason I'm bringing the Macaulayite up is we're going to use Macaulayite and local ore, local materials, alluvial clay, alluvial sandstone clay, charcoal now rather than bought charcoal rather than made charcoal to smelt local iron, bog iron, to recreate the axe, the Rhiney Man axe. And that's happening as soon as I get back in next month. The Corniac is this is Calder Hale, which is near Inverness, again, not far from Aberdeen, not far from the sculpture workshops, where they found 17 large-scale roundhouses. Very, very big, 1.5 metre diameter, some of the post holes. And in the post holes, they found lots of iron artefacts, including a complete iron sword jammed in as part of packing. So, obviously, there was a lot of industry going on in the area. And further excavations have shown that most of the large roundhouses are actually factories. They're basically a huge amount of iron being produced there. So whether ceremonial or not, the placing of the iron artifacts in these post holes, it becomes a bit more clear why you've got so many of these precious objects jammed into holes. It's probably something online around. So inside the remains, the latest one they excavated was the remains of the last firing. Further seven further furnaces have been found in that particular Coldale area, and plus a good proportion of deposits, including 250 kilograms of slag, 250 kilos of slag from their area. So obviously a very large scale production going on there for a long time. This is back to Rhiney. That's the Crawstain Arrow there. And you see around it there's the remains of a roundhouse. And in the roundhouse, they were doing excavations. They found fantastic little artifacts, including this little thing here, which is actually a bronze pin, a glass shard from Syria. They also found some glass beads from the south of France, showing just how important this place was. This is 700 AD, and then important stuff from Syria. Which just sort of shows what was going on at the time. People don't know very much, so to speculate. They draw pictures I saw earlier, show you with interest and painted, and yet their important stuff was Syrian. They also had lots of wine jugs there, so that's obviously the casting element. This is a mould that they found there, small axe mould. Usually pretty small, as most things were discovered. Another one, it's another little mould. And most excitingly of all, this is the most exciting thing, well, second perhaps, foundry tongs. So they found these foundry tongs, not sure what they were, and they are dated to their period. The top left sees the X-ray of it. This is what got SSW involved. Dr. Gordon Noble, the archaeologist, found these and then discovered that there was a foundry 4 miles away. And he came to the foundry and asked them if they had any foundry tongs, and I've got a pair that was identical. I suppose so he was very excited about that. And that's what instigated the entire project. Perhaps the best of all, I prefer this one, this is a nice one, is, sorry, that's the X-ray. This. It's a beautiful replica of the axe that we're going to make, and if you got it X-rayed, and that's what it looks like. So beautiful, delicate, showing you've got stability, you've got craftsmanship, you've got artistry at this time, and you've got lots of work going on.
When they actually X-ray it, and that kind of sees through all the rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah.
It's actually a snake's head right in the centre of the coil. Is a snake's head. So it shows you how well made it was. And that's again the Crawstain. All this evidence, points out to the importance of the area in Aberdeenshire. Also the links it had. with everywhere. Politics, stability, royalty, which, yeah, all through some artifacts. And that's the Rhymy man. And that's his axe. The axe itself is almost identical to one, this is the carving, identical to the one found at the Sutton Hoo excavations on the south coast. So, when we get back, we're going to smelt iron and we're going to forge that axe. Hopefully. But again, the strange thing about this project is that it opens your eyes to various other aspects. I mean, 700 AD, you'd have gone up the hill, chopped your wood down, made charcoal, built your furnace, found ore, smelted it, made materials, made tools, equipment, etc. But I was just speculating what would happen now if AD 700 man wanders around. He'd be arrested for trespass, vandalism. The bogs that the bog owl was found in has been drained, turned into agriculture. The landscape's changing, climate's changing through presumably from our influences. So that's another question that we're going to be asking next year. To develop the project, we're going to take it a step further and invite artists to work with people in this field that are accessible to them. So anyway, that's about it. I thought I'd keep it really short. So there you are, thank you. Great.
Do you know if that axe is, the purposes of that axe is ceremonial, or is it for warfare? Do they have any?
The axe is a ceremonial axe used for slaughtering cattle, I believe. It's, yeah.
Do they know with the kind of trade from Syrian pottery or glass, the bronze pin, is that from the Viking influence or the Roman influence, do you think?
The pin was from Viking influence, yeah.
So from their trade routes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, from Syria too, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
glass beads from Syria, also amphora and glass from Rome. So,
That's too.
lot of scope there.
A lot going on back then.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Where do they think they got their technology for smelting iron from how did that technology reach the Picts? Or did they originally?
Okay, well, that's a very good question. That's what everyone's looking into at the moment. There's a very, the furnace design, as you know, it's ubiquitous. It's found all over the place, but the fact that these areas, particularly the Pedvale excavations, it's massive, huge big huge big industry overlooking Inverness. So it's very prominent hill, sort of been very prominent. They've discovered that some of the buildings have been there for hundreds of years, extended outwards. The original central building had been extended outwards and the floor put in, and even further out, and then actually done some landscaping to make it more. The landscape at the front. The door was always pointing away from the wind, northeast. So. So yeah, it was there for a very long time,
So they were an agrarian society.
Yeah.
They raised cattle.
Yes.
And they had a royalty.
Yeah. There was also strand loupers. There, obviously the coast was full of shellfish and whatever, so they were called strand loupers. They moved up. So.
What did they think the population of that community was? Any ideas?
No ideas. A lot of it, there's stuff everywhere. There's standing stones, stone circles, souterrains, all sorts of Iron Age and earlier artifacts and dotted around the place. So, and also evidence that there was a very big lake around the area too. There's nothing in a flat area and all around this stuff. So.
You mentioned that granite, that special granite. What role does that play in the experiment or the research that you're doing?
I decided to use Macaulay in the first smelt that I did. It's local, very local. It's iron content. So I thought I'd use it as part of this, just to see what happened really. It's got quite high iron content. So, but the fact that it's local, that's the thought process behind it. So you find that, so you use it. But the fact that it's also possibly on Mars is quite interesting as well, which means we can hold the next iron conference on Mars.
Yeah. We just need a shuttle from the hostel.
Yeah.
So, one more question with involvement in that project. There's you that are bringing the art, some of the research, the melting, smelting knowledge, the archaeologists. Are there other blacksmiths? What other practitioners?
Yes, sorry, I forgot to mention, Darryl, there's a blacksmith and archaeological experimenter called Darryl Merkovich from Wareham Forge in Canada. I invited him to take part because he's had a lot of experience in the field. My experiments, I've just done a few, so I don't know very much at all. So getting him on board and Dr. Gordon Noble together, it makes more sense. That's what knows exactly what they're doing. And then we can push the parameters, experimenting with local ore, with the coordinate channel. So bringing expertise in on the job. It's really good. Cool. So yeah, we're going to be putting postings up on the SSW website regularly to keep everybody informed what's going on. And there'll be a publication at the end, probably on online publication, so leading on to next year's program. Okay.
Thanks, Charlie.
Thank you very much. Still reading.